called fashion, sweetie. Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel, and boy do I have a treat for you today. Today we're going to be talking about Juice Plus, which is not something I had looked into before now, and man, there's some crazy stuff going on with this company. A lovely person who used to be a Juice Plus representative reached out to me, and she told me that the vibe apparently is very similar to the Beachbody stuff that we looked at before, and she offered to do a Q&A, which I thought was really awesome. So I'm going to share that with you, and I think this will be a really good learning opportunity. I hope you enjoy it. She'd prefer not to show her face, which I'm sure everybody completely understands. Do remember to subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, I'm super psyched to learn some stuff. Thank you so much, Nat, for joining me.
No problem.
I guess to start with, I'd really like to know how you got involved in the first place. What brought you to Juice Plus?
Well, at the moment, I'm studying psychology at university, so money is a bit tight. My son has autism, and one of his special interests is Tokyo and Japan and things like that. So I had put on a large amount of weight because of bipolar medication. So I was taking the shakes anyway. And then I was seeing my rep, and she was earning like thousands just in bonuses and stuff like that. Yeah, and I thought that would be Josh's Japan money, like, made straight away, you know what I mean? Because I really want to take him when he's done his GCSEs.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to sign up, so I did. And at first I was like, I'm a bit worried about signing up and I won't make any money. And she's like, oh, no, she was telling me everything I wanted to hear, basically, you know what I mean? So I gambled £50 and signed up.
Was the rep a friend of yours, or was it just somebody you found when you were looking for the products?
It was a friend of a friend. I mean, I'd inquired about Juice Plus on my Facebook because I've tried the products in the past, and I was desperate to take the weight off.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, yeah, I was introduced to her, basically.
Okay. Talking about the products, before we get into the sort of business model. So I've seen they've got kind of different tiers of packages, right? So there's like supplements, and then they have like a weight loss kind of program. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So what was it that you were getting?
At first I was getting the shakes.
The shakes.
So,
okay.
As a customer, I was getting the shakes, but as a rep, it was a lot more.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I've seen it's hard to know via the website things like how much you make and how much you have to sell and stuff like this, but I noticed everywhere the kind of first thing that they say when you start to be, if you just want to sell it, is you have to know the products and love the products first. So you should buy all of the, right?
Yeah, it's like when you first start, they give you like lots of a Facebook group full of training videos, you know what I mean? And on every single one, they're like, oh yeah, buy one of the products, you'll get paid for this. And really, in reality, you could probably get paid about £2 for like £50 worth of product or something like that. So yeah, you do have to buy the products
more
and
or less
invest in your health.
You're still a customer at the sort of top.
Yeah, of course.
Top priority. Yeah.
So yeah, and they have targets to meet, for promotions, and the first one is quite manageable. It's 825, and a few friends helped me out and everything like that. I think they were being supportive, really, because they're not very friendly with MLMs and everything like that.
Right.
And then I was so close to the promotion. I mean, I got an £80 promotion, bonus if I hit this promotion. So I was so close. So I was thinking, what can I buy to make these points up and everything like that? And next thing, I've got the whole of Juice Plus's inventory in my living room, you know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
So, and it is very pricey as well, extremely pricey.
Yeah, I bet. So in terms of, getting the bonus and promoting, did you, I don't know how much of a record you sort of kept of your in and out,
well,
but
I was only looking at things the other week, and in sales, well, I'll start off with how much I made on my first month to get the promotion. I think I got about over £1,000. I made £118 off that, plus the £80 bonus, which was a bit, oh God, you know what I mean? Considering as well that I've joined up with £50 before that. And I had ordered, because they do monthly instalments for 4 months. So I had ordered about £200 every month for 4 months. So I had lost out big time, really.
Oh, wow, that's a huge
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
like what, £800 or so?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
And
It's
it's really
crazy.
marketed as like a £50 investment.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not. It's just, yeah, it's
Wow.
just a ticket to lose more money, to be honest.
Oh gosh, I bet that was a stressful moment.
It really was. I mean, at first, I think because it was in monthly installments, it wasn't so bad. I mean, when the wages was in my bank, I call them wages. I mean, when the money was in my bank, I was like happy. But then the next thing, it was Juice Plus, minus Juice Plus payment, Juice Plus, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. You know what I mean? And then the next month, I didn't make any money at all because I wasn't prepared to do all of the daily tasks, that they want you to do. It's quite predatory, really, but it's like hidden predatory. It's just like Instagram stories. You've got to build relationships with people on Instagram. You've got to reply to people's stories that you don't know and have a conversation with them, which is daunting for me because I suffer a lot with social anxiety and things like that.
Sounds a bit
yeah,
stressful.
it is. You've got to add 200 people onto Facebook, 100 people onto Instagram. This is a day.
A day?
A
Oh my
day.
gosh. That sounds like an 8-hour working day doing
It
that
is.
much.
I was glued to my phone constantly, you know what I mean? And then to make the money for the products that I was buying, I was doing online surveys. So it was just this vicious circle all the time. And when you first join as well, you are given about 6 people to follow that's been successful in the business.
Right.
And it's to, like they say, it's to see how they work, but really all they do is flex. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, what Chanel bag should I buy? Or look at my new Range Rover. Like, they're just some of the posts that
Look what your life could be.
Yeah, exactly. And they advertise the business as, oh, you can fit it around your kids, you can fit it around your job. But when you get in the top people say, I didn't watch Netflix for 3 years. I didn't go to family functions or anything. I was going, even one said that he drove across the country with no car insurance just to make it to an event. So I thought, wow, that is a lot of work.
That's not a flexible side hustle, is it?
Really not.
That's so funny. It's because you said to me that it was you thought it was very like the Beachbody sort of stuff, and that just ticks all the same boxes, doesn't it?
Of course. Because when I seen it, I was like, oh my God, that, everything that happened, I was like, this is Juice Plus all over. You know what I mean? Like, nobody really says anything about it.
I did see, when I was looking this up, I found the UK EU sort of YouTube channel for Juice Plus, and they talked about how they were rebranding. This was January this year.
Okay.
And they were renaming the first 2 layers. It used to be distributor and distributor, direct distributor. And now it's partner and partner plus. And all of the material really emphasizes how these are just customers who really want to be involved in the community. And I was thinking, I'm sure I've read like a million stories of MLMs doing that to avoid legal issues from nobody making any money. To just say, oh no, it's fine, they're just customers, because you are really. But the reality is you've been sold that as a business opportunity to make money. It's not like, oh, you must want all of these products, here's a discount. It's this is your business that you can set up.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it's like. And also they say, if you do have a customer, you've got to prey on them customers for possible recruits as well. So they say customers make the best recruits. So like they want the customers in because the customers already like the products, so they want them in to buy more of the products. And that's how it goes, really.
I guess what happened to you, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly,
But then, I mean, eventually, if you are making all of your customers competitors, there's you just got to run out of customers. I guess that's why you have to add 200 people a day on Facebook or something.
And when you've added them people, you've got to build relationships with them people. So it's all like they say, don't make false connections. Like, if you just say someone puts a picture of a cake and you didn't thought it looked nice, don't say it doesn't look nice. But if you do, say that it does, and then build connections with that person. If somebody likes anything,
build connections with like 300 people a day.
It's crazy. You can't. It's really not, especially for someone like me who like has a very small circle of friends and likes it that way. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean, I'm the same. I thought a while
yeah,
ago I was looking up the Body Shop, and while I was
yeah,
like being told about it, I was like, God, I really feel like I could succeed at this and be like get up the levels. And then I thought about it later and
yeah,
I was like, what was I? No, I couldn't.
of
I've got no
course,
people skills. I can't do retail. I would be terrible. But they really make you feel
yeah,
like it's that easy and you would
yeah.
do so well.
They make you
Oh,
feel special, you know what I mean? No matter your
yeah.
mental health condition. Like with me, I said I find it hard. I've got social anxiety, bipolar, and they're like, oh, you just need to work on your mindset and your personal development. You've got to do self development every single day. Listen to that. Is it Tony Robbins, Tim Robbins,
Oh
something
no.
like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
All the same as like God Almighty. Like
Oh
all of
God.
them love it. So, but that is not going to cure my bipolar or social
No, if it was that
anxiety.
easy, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all like doctors would be prescribing YouTube videos and podcasts, not like
Yeah.
medication and therapy.
How long, if you don't mind me asking, how long were you like a member for?
A short time, and that's because my mum was very anti-MLM, and she, as soon as she found out, she was like, can you get the money back? And I was like, no mum, I really want to do this. And it actually took me getting COVID and taking a step back to
Wow.
realise that I'd distanced myself from uni and Juice Plus because I was so overwhelmed with everything.
Yeah.
And then because I had COVID, I had a lot more downtime, you know what I mean? So I was looking at anti-MLM things and videos. And then I realised really that I've been sort of brainwashed because usually I'm very skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
And I research everything. I'm an investigator, like that's what I do. And I was taking all these people's words for everything without doing any research or anything like that because they were so believable. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad it was just a short amount of time because I know a girl that's been there for years and she hasn't had the financial freedom that everyone is promised.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, that's awful.
yeah.
I think it's
I know.
probably a combination of they tell you what you want to hear. So
Yeah,
you really want to believe them because
of course.
you want this amazing lifestyle. And, you know, not
Yeah.
only do you cure yourself and you're suddenly free of anxiety and everything's wonderful,
Yeah.
but also you're making loads of money and you can buy things for your son. It's amazing.
Of course.
It's that and the sort of, they tend to be a bit closed off to outsiders. I don't know if you found this, but there tends to be a sort of rejection of people who point out flaws and things are sort of haters, right?
Yeah,
And
and you've
therefore
got to
you
block
just
them.
don't listen to them.
Yeah, and you've got to block them and just move on. That's what they say.
Is that what you were
So
told?
these,
Yeah.
yeah, these people could be like old friends or something like that. And they're like, oh, just block any of the negative ones and move on and carry on with your journey. Like that. I think I've got messages actually saying them words as well. So
Wow. It's a bit culty,
yeah,
isn't it? Like the people
very
who disagree,
culty.
just shut them out of your life. That's, yeah.
Well, very culty because the minute I unfriended them off Facebook, I was blocked and from everyone and everything. And I was like, wow, this is like a full-on cult.
Wow.
So,
and it's
yeah.
it's supposed to be such a supportive community, right? Of lovely people.
Of positivity and women empowerment, as they put it, and everything like that. But,
so you said you used the products before. Did you,
yeah.
just dipping back into the products for a bit, did you find you had much success with them?
I mean, no, because I didn't really, like, at first you use them all the time and then next thing you get bored of the milkshakes. I mean, there is recipes for the milkshakes, but they just end up in your cupboard and you know what I mean? But the diet plan itself was to eat clean, you know what I mean? And I think anybody who was following that diet plan would have weight loss results. I don't think it's anything to do with the products.
I read some doctors who were critical of it said that it was just very, very low calorie, like it was lower calorie than they would recommend, and that's probably why the weight comes off so fast.
Exactly. And it's too quick as well with some people.
And in terms of what I've read about the supplements and things,
oh God,
there's nothing necessarily wrong with them. But
I've got a whole thing I could say about the supplements.
I would love to hear it. I'll tell you what I read and you can tell me if I'm right and what your experience is. So I was kind of reading like nutritionists and not to put down the MLM people too much, but like legitimate sort of nutritionists and doctors and things. And effectively what everyone basically said is that it's a really, really expensive version of just a cheap multivitamin. And you'd still be better off just having whole fruits and veg rather than the supplements. And so the crazy price is just, there's no way to justify it, really.
Yeah, of course. Well, they've actually, the full range of the supplements, they very conveniently renamed them the Protection Bundle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and that's what they're advertising them as. Immune boosting, protection, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's just funny that they named that in the middle of a global pandemic.
Yeah, I want to be shocked, but taking advantage of the pandemic is just so common in these companies now.
Yeah, definitely. Also, the research, I mean, we probably come across some of the same things by the sounds. They advertise the capsules as having, I think, 30 servings of fruits and vegetables. And then I was looking at one nutritionist from Australia who looked into the capsules and said that they had recorded everything as milligrams instead of grams or something, so the number was higher. And really there was like a third of a carrot in some of them, 0.03 grams of tomato, 0.03, so everything was like 0.03, and basically it's not as like what's being promised whatsoever. And when you get these vitamins, these supplements, you get a chewable version for kids for free. And what's worrying is, like, I mean, the amount of fibre that you can get from these supplements is a lot less than what's in a medium banana, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah, they said a medium banana was 3 grams, I think, and these supplements was 0.9 or something like that of fibre, you know, just to compare.
Yeah.
And so you get free chewable versions for kids, but the thing is, some people are giving their kids these supplements. I mean, as a mum with an autistic son, you know what I mean? I know what it's like to have kids who are so fussy, you know, with the foods. They're giving these supplements to the kids in place of fruits and vegetables. I've seen so many people do it, which is quite dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. It's totally not, because they also had troubles, right? I think I was reading, I don't know if you read this as well, but they initially used to say that it was as good as fruit and veg.
Yeah.
And then they got basically told off. And so now they're like, it's the next best thing.
Yeah.
And they call it like a bridge between, I don't know, being deficient and having fruit. I don't understand why you wouldn't just have fruit and veg in this situation, but
exactly, it's crazy.
It's just I mean, the vitamin and supplement industry is something that I'm sort of interested in as a skeptic as well. There's a book called Vitamania. You might, as a fellow skeptic and investigator, you might enjoy it. But the whole supplement industry is kind of bordering on, yes, it's basically, these things can be useful if you're deficient. Otherwise, there's
you can have, because you can have too much vitamins, can't you?
And certain vitamins you can't even process too much. There's no problem with having supplements. You know, I work in the dark every day, so I take my vitamin D. Just to try and boost it up a bit.
I'm very pale as well.
Yeah, well, but like, you know, I get my like Tesco own 40p vitamin D because it does the same thing as these like £50 a month subscriptions. There's no need to pay that much for it.
No, none at all. And what they're trying to do with the vitamins now is push sellers into selling the vitamins over the shakes, because you're more likely to get a recurring customer from the vitamins, because, you know, they're claiming that, they don't claim that it cures fibromyalgia and things like that, but there's so many testimonials. Some nutritionists are saying it could be a placebo effect or something like that.
Yes, I've seen lots of studies around different sort of supplements and things like this, and essentially the effects are positive in terms of, it's the same thing we were just talking about. It's like there's nothing wrong with taking it, it can help, but you could get something for the tiniest fraction of the price, and through either supplementing your vitamin intake a little bit or just the placebo effect, it will help you, you know. I don't know if you read this as well. I have like an interesting fact that I found related to their endorsements. OJ Simpson was like a celebrity endorser.
I seen something about that, and I've not really looked into it. But
he was paid like 6 figures to be a celebrity endorser. This was obviously this in the mid-90s. But so he was paid an enormous amount of money. And what I think is the funniest thing is that there's actually videotapes of him talking to reps at a conference or something, and it's him telling them that the supplements cured his arthritis and that he didn't have to take his medication anymore.
Right.
Which was then the defense he used in court when he was accused of murdering his ex-wife, was that his arthritis was too bad and he still has to take this drug.
Wow. I really need to look into this.
It's just, it's crazy.
Wow.
It just made me, it's so ridiculous and awful that I couldn't help but laugh, because you're like, they'll say anything.
It's because they're being funded to say this as well, which brings me like to the scientific studies that they boast about as well. I just thought to myself, well, who's funding these studies and things like that? Who's sponsoring them? And of course, it was Juice Plus themselves, and it's internally like been studied by Juice Plus scientists. So I thought, right, well, that's obviously where the studies and the science comes from. It's Juice Plus themselves. So
100%. But I'm betting you didn't get told that when you were being told how amazing they were.
Oh no, I had to find all this out about like by myself, but I really am going to look into that OJ Simpson thing, because that sounds brilliant.
It's worth a look for sure.
Bear Grylls.
Oh no, I like Bear Grylls.
I know. Apparently he was a celebrity speaker. They had an online convention that he had to pay for. I didn't, but he apparently has been on the product since childhood. So he's grown up with the products.
Oh no. I mean, I guess if you just don't look into it that much, it's just like about eating healthy and having supplements and stuff. So you probably wouldn't, you'd be like, that seems fine. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
That's really disappointing. I'm always so disappointed. It's like
I'm sorry.
Ronaldo and Herbalife. No, it's good. It's good to know, but
I know what you mean.
It's kind of so disappointed, especially Bear Grylls. You know, you feel like he should have a handle on what nutrition is, and like being responsible with promoting good nutrition.
Yeah, because that's his whole thing, survival and where to get nutrition from the wild and things like that.
Yeah, you're not going to find your Juice Plus supplements out in the wild.
I know. Like on a tree or something, Juice Plus berry capsules, just plucking them off a tree or something.
It's falling off a tree. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen, because we're in the UK, obviously, we suffer a bit from there being no laws about income disclosure. So companies just don't have to show them, which I think is really annoying. So I've only seen like the US ones, and especially the Australia. Australia seems to be quite good with releasing those. But so I don't know if you've seen any of the like, this is how much people actually make. But it's rubbish. I mean, I've got this is a 2017 one, so it's probably like a little bit out of date. But so the majority of the company is the 25% and then the 32% of the top, the like first two levels. The average incomes are like $200 to $300. Right. And then obviously, like you explained earlier, that doesn't take into account the money you have to spend on products and things like that. So that's, I mean, if they were all doing the same sort of thing that you were doing, that's a huge loss, right? Yeah. The actual, like the top high sellers, there's 0.7% of the company are making 22,000 a year. Wow. Which is fine. But I mean, I'm not super up on Australian currency to British pounds, so I don't know what that would translate to. But it's sort of like low to average salary for
it is
what sounds like, almost a 24/7 job, right?
Of course.
Which is just, and then even the very top sort of layer, which is 0.9% of the company, it's still only 114,000. I mean, to us normal people, that's a lot of money. But for the this is the dream lifestyle, I'm buying a Ferrari, this is my new house. That's not really enough money to fund the kind of lifestyle that people are claiming you can get. So I don't really understand where this idea of being super rich kind of comes from.
Exactly.
It can only be a few people.
Yeah. I mean, it must be. I mean, the words financial freedom are thrown about all of the time, and that doesn't sound like financial freedom. You can still be struggling with those wages, you know what I mean? You can still be in debt.
Especially if you've got kids, like 22 grand a year. It's like you can get by, but you'd probably be better off just working a 9 to 5 and trying to
leaving work at the door.
Stack up promotions or something just over time, even if you're doing it in like minimum wage, slowest climb. You probably eventually would be earning more than doing this.
Yeah. And you don't have to sacrifice Netflix.
Small percent, and you wouldn't have to sacrifice Netflix, exactly. But that's like 0.7% of the company as well.
Exactly, that is crazy. I mean, considering the speeding across the country without car insurance and things like that, it's not worth money at all. It really isn't.
Like I think the fact that we don't get income disclosures here has got to be a big part of it, because if people saw that, there's not even really a dream to aspire to there.
Exactly.
If you take the time to think, well, hang on, they must have to spend something on the products, then you're like, well, they're not really making anything.
There's a thing called the 90-day game plan as well, which is you've got to give your full all for 90 days. And they say nobody's ever done the 90-day game plan without being promoted, you know what I mean, and everything like that. And I was on the Zoom call just listening in, and there was there was over 1,000 people, and I was thinking, so all 1,000 of us are going to be financially free. We're all going to be at the top, you know what I mean?
The country's going to go bankrupt.
Exactly, that's what I mean, and it's all because of Juice Plus. And
it's just really sad, because it really does, it's not taking advantage of the people who are that driving my Ferrari lifestyle. It's like,
of course,
the people who are already struggling just invest, and you have to invest money to make money, and it's just pushing those of us who can't afford it further down a hole, and then all wrapped up in this well, if you don't succeed, that's your fault. You know, it's not on us. The business works. Here are people who are succeeding. You just didn't work hard enough. Did you add 500 people a day and talk to them all personally? If not, whose fault is that? And it's ridiculous that these things just aren't. It's not possible to do the things that they tell you.
It really isn't. I mean, my son's a teenager now. He's not a toddler, so it's not like I'm running around after him. But it was still a lot of work, and it still took up a hell of a lot of my day doing this. Than what it would be doing any other job, and it's just not worth it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a cleaning job or anything like that, but I would much rather do that, leave my work at the door when I come home, spend time with my loved ones, watch my Netflix, be free, and not hound people on social media, you know what I mean, and prey upon them.
This is the I mean, you're studying, so you probably get this as well, but when I finished uni and I started working an actual 9 to 5 job, and I could leave my work at work, and my home time was just, now that is freedom. Whatever money you're earning, that's freedom. Being able to not, because I know what I'm like as well. If I had a job that I could do from my phone, because it took me a long time to train myself out of reading my work emails at the weekend, you know, if I had a job that was on social media, I wouldn't know when to stop. And, you know, there's that problem that starts to come in where you start to feel guilty if you're not working, because you could be making money right now. And how much are you losing by not working? And then suddenly it's how do you create a boundary? Because they don't teach you that. And as much as I've seen, they don't teach you how to wind down and keep a good work-life balance. It's just work enough, right?
Yeah. Well, they say any downtime you have, you should be doing this. You should be
Which is
doing your
crazy.
daily tasks. Exactly. It shouldn't be like that. Life should not be like that
No,
whatsoever.
it's like a one-way track to a mental breakdown, really.
I
You just
know.
can't push yourself that much.
Exactly. I mean, I'm pretty sure like the likes of Richard Branson isn't doing as much as what they expect these people to do. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it is crazy. It is a crazy amount of time that they want you to have. One even compared it to Beyonce rehearsing for Coachella, which I found quite weird and funny at the same time. So,
The thing is,
and like,
Beyonce gets a guaranteed salary.
exactly.
You know, the hours she does, she is paid for, whatever
Exactly.
like happens.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
So,
You can work crazy hours, but if you're getting money for those hours,
yeah,
then at least you're making your time. Whereas in this,
exactly.
you know, most of the people in the company, according to the income, I'm gesturing to my screen as though you can see.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I know what you mean.
Going from the income disclosure, it's like they're working more than is, you know, humanly possible and not making any money. So
Yeah,
it's just why. Were you in like a team? I mean, you joined up with like a friend of a friend, you said. So was that,
yeah.
because there's that kind of upline structure, right?
Yeah, of course. There was a team. I think there was about 10 of us in her team. And from the start, you're told to recruit. It's not, but they say it in ways like you don't have to recruit, but if you don't, you're only going to go so far in the company and
Right.
through the promotion ranks. And you're better recruiting from the beginning because it's better to learn with a friend and everything like that. So I didn't actually have a team of my own. I was terrible at recruiting. And to be honest, because I wasn't prepared to do all of the daily tasks, I wasn't good at it.
Well, you have a
I
life
really
as well.
of course, yeah. Yeah. And to be honest, my upline told me to, like, as a tip, she didn't say I had to do it, but she said, message everybody on your friends list on Facebook, ask if they want in on the opportunity. And even if they say no, at least it's put a seed into their head. And I'd messaged a few people who I felt comfortable with, and then I thought, this is so false because I'm just messaging them about this opportunity. I'm not saying hi, how are you, and actually meaning it. I'm like, please join my team because I have no team members. That is all it is.
Yeah.
So it's also fake.
That's the thing as well, right? Because it, like we kind of said before, it kind of spreads this idea of you would be amazing and you feel like you're special. But then when you're in, they tell you to just message everyone.
Yeah.
Like it's not, if it was that the recruitment didn't matter and you had a friend that you thought genuinely would be amazing and you would like to do it with, then that's kind of what they imply the structure is like, right? But it's not. It's like add loads of strangers and just ask them all because some of them will say yes.
Even the ones that say no, they just think that they're going to be pondering about it, and then eventually they're going to come around to it. And they want you to message people instead of saying happy birthday, on the wall. They want you to message them happy birthday to start a conversation, especially the ones that you've asked to recruit and things like that, to start a conversation. And then that'll work round to, oh, have you thought any more about joining the team and things like that. So, and it worries me as well about young impressionable girls, because you can join this from the age of 18.
Right.
And like, if they're given all these successful people to follow who's getting designer labels every day and everything, they are going to give their all. They could be spending their student loans on, products and things like that.
Yeah.
And they will be blinded by the lights. I think looking back, if I was 18, I would have done everything to try and get to the top, even though you can't get to the top.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're just, like, being shown this high life that's not even real. It's not even real at all.
One of the things, so I feel like I'm just going to keep throwing like book recommendations and stuff at you because I feel like
that's fine.
You get me on this.
Yeah, I did.
But so I was reading, I was listening to an audiobook actually about Ponzi schemes called Anatomy of a Ponzi Scheme, and a couple of other like books about scams and stuff. And they kind of say that one of the first things you should look at before you invest with a person or a company is their history, particularly criminal history, and if they've been involved in any kind of issues. And so I was like, well, what's Juice Plus's history?
I never thought of it like that, really, and it's quite weird that I didn't. But
well, you don't. you just don't think to question it, do you? Because it's
No.
just, it's a health supplement company that your friend is recommending. There's
Exactly.
nothing that, it's not like you're going to a bank, right? And like investing in stocks or something.
Yeah,
that you think I
very
better look
true.
this up. It's like, it just seems like it would be fine. But so I was looking it up, and I thought it's funny that the company, the like parent company, is still called the National Security Association.
All right.
Because Juice Plus is actually
Yeah.
just like a subsidiary, and I think it's because they basically went through loads of stages of different sort of MLM things, and I think they still do a
Right.
couple of them. So they still sell, I think, water and air purifiers.
Yeah, and wasn't it like electric blankets and things
Yes,
like that?
I think they started off with like fire safety, which is why they're
Yeah.
called like National Safety
Yeah.
Associates. So in the 90s, particularly when pyramid schemes were like a big, and Ponzi schemes were like a big thing, they had a
Yeah.
bunch of accusations of being a Ponzi scheme and being a pyramid scheme.
Right.
And particularly with these water and air purifiers, there were apparently loads of people just had garages full of product. You know, like you said,
Yeah.
your living room ended up with like just full of
Yeah.
product. It's like that's been
Yeah.
the same throughout their whole company history, regardless of what the product is and the business model.
Of course.
So they've managed to skirt the law, but clearly not that much has changed. But yeah, so in the USA, they had a bunch of state regulators accuse the NSA of fraud. I don't know what that was in relation to, but they settled
Right.
out of court in 10 states, paying fines and penalties of $500,000.
Wow.
And that was 1993. So according to me,
Oh my
browsing the
God.
internet, I think that's about 900,000 today. There's just allegations that never really went anywhere, but there's also,
Yeah.
they did pay fines and
Yeah.
settle out of court
Yeah.
for fraud,
Of course.
which is if you're a company with a lot of money, it's like the safest way to not admit that you've done anything whilst making it quite
Exactly.
obvious that you have done something.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
settling out
So
of
it's
court.
like without. Yeah, but it's like an open secret type of
Because
thing.
yeah,
It's
because
like,
you never have
yeah.
to admit it that way, but
Of
you
course.
have to pay off a big fine or a big fee or whatever.
Yeah. So
So
it's just left to people's judgments then, isn't it? Really, in the.
yeah.
Yeah.
But because this stuff is, especially because I mean this stuff is all from the 90s, so
Yeah.
it's hard to find. But the fact is that the founder back then is the same person who's in charge of the company now. So
Right. I did not know that. Yeah.
it makes sense. Yeah, I think his name is Jay Martin. And so like actually looking into the history of the founder and the CEO before you invest in a company is a really good idea, I think.
Of course.
Because
of
if it's
course.
from the offset, it's been accused of being a pyramid scheme and having problems with stock and stuff. And then you can,
Yeah.
when you speak to people who have experienced that sort of thing, that's
Yeah.
enough, I think, for you to go, okay, this might not be a very legitimate thing for me to get involved with.
Like all these reps, they don't know all of this. They're
Exactly.
only getting told from their upline, so it's just recycled information all the time.
Exactly.
And so I think people do need to go with their eyes wide open and just research literally everything they can before. I mean, there's no good MLM anyway, you know what I mean? But if there was to look into one, then that is definitely something they should research.
I'm just going to dive out for a second because I've just had a thought. With supplements and things, is there, especially milkshake, like, not milkshake, but like health shakes, would there be an expiry date on those?
Have some to hand.
Oh, amazing.
So expiry is the 9th September 2021.
Yeah, 2021.
September 2021, yeah.
Okay, so that's not very long either, really.
No, not really.
So that's, yeah, because I always think about that with like supplements and makeup and stuff, is that because you have such a short expiry date, if you can't shift the products, they're just going in the bin. You can't even use them yourself if you have loads that you can't shift. So that's like an even bigger sort of risk.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just thought of that. I was like, they must expire.
Exactly. I'm glad you actually reminded me that they do, because
I
never actually thought of it like
that. You don't think of that either, right? You're just like,
no,
I mean, you don't assume that you're going to have stock that you can't shift, I guess.
Definitely not. And also, like, these reps that are selling them, there's not going to be many that are fully qualified nutritionists, nurses, doctors. So really, you're like getting advice off beauticians, cleaners, carers, things like that. And like, you really need to do your research on every single product before you buy it, especially for these products. I mean, for all four, you know, of the supplements, the whole range, it's to buy in full is, I think, £321, and in 4 months, I know that's for the protection bundle, and in 4 monthly installments it's £81.
That's
so
just
that
insane.
is a lot. It is. It's very, very, very overpriced, but really it's got to be because of all the people that they're paying, you know, like down the pyramid. And also
that's what the price accounts for. Absolutely, because it's not the value of the products that are going into it. And I also I think this might be one of the websites that you looked at as well, if I'm thinking back to my reading correctly. But I was reading as well that Juice Plus were recommending the supplements for pregnancy, and doctors were saying that actually these have loads of vitamin A, and you're really not recommended that much vitamin A when you're pregnant. So
I'm sure
that's even like detrimental potentially to some people's health.
Yeah,
and they're like advertising the opposite.
I'm sure one of the bundles is called a pregnancy bundle, or
really
it's advertised it's advertised at pregnant mothers anyway. I will try and find you know, a screenshot of that or something.
I would hope that if there's a specific pregnancy one, it would, at least that one would contain less vitamin A, but I don't know.
Definitely I'll look into it a bit more though, and I'll keep you informed.
Thank you.
Hopefully, you know what I mean, that's not the case, but
hopefully not. But that is, like you said,
would not surprise me.
Nobody's qualified to tell you about, because even if you go into like a Holland and Barrett or something, you know, a health food shop, the training that they have to go through just to work in those shops is like really extreme. They have to know about every product, and you know, if a customer comes in and says, oh, I have this or this, then they have to be able to recommend the specific thing. Whereas this, it's like no experience needed, no training needed. Like, I could join today and I know nothing about nutrition, nothing about sales. I could have a team and I know nothing about management or like how to support people. And so you just end up with these massive long like pyramids down of people who don't know what they're teaching to people who are then teaching that to other people.
The only training we get really is social media presence, if you know what I mean. That's it. They actually told me to pretend to be a reality star on social media, and I'm like, no, that's not me.
Fake it till you make it.
Yes, and that is, oh my god, that got said so much. Fake it till you make it, pretend to be a reality star. Mrs. Hinch made a living from her living room, you can too. It's like, no, I couldn't recruit, so I thought that's where I'm going wrong. It's just because I'm not recruiting. And then I thought, if I recruit, then that means I'm going to be successful. So I was pushing myself to recruit. But then I thought to myself, when I did finally take a step back, I would have recruited somebody who would have gone through everything that I have been through and brainwashed them and made them think, you know, give them, because I would have had to pass down everything I learned and the videos I watched and the people I followed. So I would have been doing this to this person and brainwashing them myself, and then I would have been no better, really, you know what I mean? So it's quite scary when I think, you know, when you think back to think, yeah, you could have made somebody else's life miserable.
Yeah, I mean, you're all sort of victims of the same system, but it's hard not to, I guess there's an amount of personal responsibility in recruiting other people in. And I just always think the people that are at the top must know. I think there's probably a lot of people who are still trapped in that mindset where they think that it's just, you know, they believe the talk. The people who are so high up, they have to know.
Yeah. Well, some people have been in this for years, so they must know, you know what I mean? If it only took me a few months to step back and think, then there must have been a breaking point for everybody where they've stepped back and thought, but then they thought, well, I'm earning this amount of money, so I'll just carry on with it, you know what I mean? So the people at the top will know. They do know what they're doing, and like, they're the ones that are giving the ones at the bottom, you know, coming up with some of this advice and everything like that. And they must know the manipulation behind the tactics that they're telling other people to use.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely that they will definitely be aware.
You've shared so much. This has been really, really
Yeah.
insightful and
Oh,
mildly depressing. So I'm sorry
yeah.
for taking you through this again as well. They
No, it's absolutely fine.
they all are,
I mean,
aren't they? When you think
yeah.
about them and like how bad these companies really are and how much damage they can do, it's just
Yeah.
so depressing
And
that it's just allowed.
yeah, every company as well, it's just all the same. They use the same tactics, it's just a different brand. And what I find funny about Juice Plus as well is a lot of people say, like, some people you like show the brand, but I'm sure it's one of the 4 main rules when you first join up is don't show the brand, just be a product of the product, which is quite weird, really. Why not show the brand? If the brand's good, then, like, as good as you say, why not show the brand? And
Exactly.
obviously, like, if this brand was so good, it'd be flying off the shelves in every like big supermarket or Holland and Barrett's or wherever, you know what I mean? It will be flying off the shelves itself. They won't need people who don't know anything about nutrition, anything about business, anything really to do with that, or wanted to do anything like that. They don't need us to do all that. So,
you know, their distributors are the main customers. That's just
exactly.
They're selling a business idea rather than a product, really.
Yeah. And nobody joins these MLMs because the life's great and they're financially secure. Nobody joins.
No.
Because, you know what I mean? Everything's going well. It's always people, like, every success story always starts with, I was in this debt, I was near enough homeless, or I was this, or it's never like, oh, I was, you know what I mean? I was in a job, I liked it, but then I seen this and then decided to go into this, you know what I mean? It's never a happy story at the beginning. It's always a miserable story.
It's I've got this chronic illness and
of course,
there are other work from home opportunities.
Of course.
And flexible jobs and things like I was looking at I'm trying to think of the non-MLM term for a side hustle, like a flexible sort of part-time thing. And it's like Airbnb is like up here, and then it's like Uber, and then it's like MLMs like down here in terms of people actually making money. Oh, Etsy stores is like quite up there.
Oh yeah.
There's lots of and obviously real independent businesses. People starting their own businesses, which is a huge investment and a big risk. It's still less risky than joining an MLM.
And also, like, obviously that's got to come from a passion, like your own passion, you know what I mean? So, like, you're going to be passionate about whatever it is you're setting a business around. So you're going to want to do that, and you will put the hours that you want to put in.
Exactly.
Not that you know what I mean? Nobody's there making you feel bad that you've not put the hours in or anything like that.
Yeah.
You only have to answer to yourself. So.
Exactly. Which is what the MLMs kind of claim. But then in reality, you have to answer to an upline and, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone that's doing a seminar every week.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to be on the Zoom calls, and in between that, the daily tasks, which I'm going to send to you as well.
Oh, thank you.
I sent them to my best friend, and she just said in 3 messages, WTF. She was like, what is this? She was like, how did you even have time to do anything really, like, except for this?
I really do think that this is the cynical part of me, but I think that they make it unachievable on purpose, just so that they can have that. Well, you didn't do all the work, so that's why.
Exactly.
I guarantee they always say things like this. They say them in seminars and things. That's not in writing because that's illegal. But they're like, I guarantee you will succeed if you follow these steps, and then the steps are impossible.
Yeah,
and nobody
the
could.
Steps are like, it's okay if, like, you're just on your own. You don't have to worry about rent or bills or anything like that. You just, and you don't want any social interaction or anything like that. And you just, if you're okay with doing all that and speaking to strangers and messaging them with, hey hon, like, you know, every 2 weeks, just because they've liked one photo or something like that. If you're okay with doing that, then fine. But if you're an actual human being, you know what I mean, then it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. Well, that was absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, Nat. That was really,
no, thank you.
That was really good fun and really informative. Thank you so much for talking to me.